Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the optical receiver. Under that, error sources, front-end amplifiers, receiver sensitivity, and quantum limit. So let us start with the first one, that is the error sources. Okay, so error sources. Errors in detection system can arise from various sources. Noise is one such source. The noise can be defined as the unwanted part of the signal. The noise source can be internal to the system or it can be external to the device. Here we are going to consider only the noise internal to the system. So in this diagram we can observe that we are going to have three parts. This is the first part, the photo stream we are going to have, then photo detector we are going to have, and the next part, the amplifier we are going to have. At each of these stages, various types of noises are going to generate. So in case of photo stream, we can observe the photon detection quantum noise is going to generate. It is Poisson in nature. In the photo detector part, having the gain M, it is going to generate dark current statistical gain fluctuation. This statistical gain fluctuation is limited only for the avalanche photodiode. Now in the bias resistor, it is going to generate the thermal noise, and in case of amplifier part, it is going to generate the amplifier noise. Now let us go through in detail with this one. These various types of noise has been categorized into three parts. First one, short noise or the quantum noise. Second one, noise due to current, under which we are going to have the dark current noise and the leakage current noise. The third one, thermal noise, under that we are going to have thermal and amplifier noise. Short noise or quantum noise. Short noise arises in electronic devices because of the discrete nature of current flow in the device. In avalanche photodiode, an additional short noise arises from the statistical nature of the multiplication process. That's what the gain process we are going to have, that was discussed in the previous lecture. Because of that, the generation of the short noise can happen. Noise due to currents. So let us first go through the concept of the dark current. When there is no optical energy falling on the photodetector, even though there will be a small amount of electron hole pair recombination is going to happen, and that is going to generate a small amount of current, and that current we call it as the dark current. So therefore, here noise due to currents is related to these two concepts only, the dark current as well as the leakage current. So now let us go through these words. Noise level increases with increasing in the avalanche gain M. So this avalanche gain relates to the avalanche photodiode. So there will be a gain mechanism which is going to increase the amount of current that is generated due to the optical energy. So along with the optical energy, by default there will be another current, that is the dark current. So wherever there is a gain for the optical current, the current generated by the optical energy, there will be a gain for dark current also. So therefore, in case of avalanche photodiode, the noise level will keep increasing with the gain value M. So the last point, these are independent of photodiode illumination and can be generally small. So it is independent of photodiode illumination in the sense what I told, the same, when there is no optical energy falling on the optical detector, still there will be a small amount of current. That is what is the noise due to current, and this cannot be a huge value and this will be a small. In case of avalanche photodiode, due to the concept of gain mechanism, these noisy currents are going to increase to little bit larger values. Now getting into the thermal noise. See, the main reason for the thermal noise is this bias resistor. Now let us go through these words. So it arises from the detector load resistor, so that corresponds to this resistor, the bias resistor, and from the amplifier electronics, the electronics part of the amplifier. The pin diode, where there is low SNR, thermal noise is dominated. In avalanche photodiode, it is not the case. Now, what it mean for? So let us take the photodiode. Let us take a photodiode. So two types of photodiodes we had gone through, pin diode and the avalanche diode. So first take this pin diode. This pin diode is not going to have any kind of inbuilt gain mechanism. So this is what the photodetector region. Pin diode is not having any kind of inbuilt gain mechanism. Whatever the optical energy falling on that, it will just convert that and just make a forward of that. So that means amount of current flowing through this will be quite less. In such cases, this thermal noise can get dominated. Therefore, the signal to noise ratio becomes less in case of pin diode. Now coming to this avalanche diode. Avalanche diode is going to have inbuilt gain mechanism. So that means whatever the optical energy falling on that, it will just make an amplification of that before it comes out of this point. Therefore, in such cases, signal strength will be higher. Therefore, noise strength will be automatically less. Therefore, signal to noise ratio will be higher in case of avalanche diode. Therefore, for avalanche diode, this thermal noise will not matter a lot. Whereas in case of pin diode, this thermal noise is a major issue. Now coming to the last point, since thermal noise is Gaussian in nature, so that means all kinds of noises can be modeled as one or the another type. So in this case, thermal noise is of Gaussian in nature. It is modeled as Gaussian type. So there is a lot of solutions available to eliminate this Gaussian type of noise. So that's why we can make use of any of those methods and we can reduce this thermal noise, which will be modeled as the Gaussian noise. So I'll just read out this last sentence once again. Since thermal noise is Gaussian in nature, standard techniques can be used to reduce it. Coming to front end amplifier. So here we are going to discuss the concepts related to two terminologies. One is called the sensitivity and one more is called the bandwidth. So let me read out this sentence. Noise sources at the front end of the receiver dominate the sensitivity and the bandwidth. The goal is to maximize the receiver sensitivity while maintaining the suitable bandwidth. So for this purpose, we are going to have two types of amplifiers. So that is high impedance design and trans impedance design. Anyway, both of these two are dependent on a one concept, that is the load resistor RL. The configuration of the load resistor is going to vary, by which their sensitivity and the bandwidth are being altered. So let us go through one after the another. First one, high impedance amplifier. High impedance of RL will reduce the noise. So this is the good part of the high impedance amplifier. Let us go through the second one. But this gives a low receiver bandwidth. So this is going to be the disadvantage part of this one. See, even though we are going to have reduction in the noise, on the other hand, there will be a reduction in the bandwidth also. This is not acceptable because of the reason that the load RL is inversely proportional to the bandwidth. So as the load keep increasing, the bandwidth will keep decreasing. So as the bandwidth decreases, the sensitivity is going to vary. So the configuration is shown in this diagram, where we can observe the position of the RL. Transimpedance amplifier. So in case of transimpedance amplifier, the location of the RL itself is totally different. So it is configured in a negative feedback inverting amplifier concept. So therefore its overall concept is going to be differ. So let us go through these words. The transimpedance amplifier overcomes the drawback of high impedance amplifier. The drawback that we discussed previously was, as the resistance RL increases, the bandwidth is going to decrease, and we don't want the bandwidth to decrease. So that was the thing that we discussed previously, and this is going to overcome that problem. Let us go through how. RL is used as negative feedback resistor as inverting amplifier. So that is what is representation over here. This reduces the effective resistance by a factor G, where this G represents the gain of the amplifier. And what about the bandwidth? This will increase the transimpedance bandwidth by a factor of G plus 1. So that means the effect on the bandwidth is going to be quite less, whereas the amplification is going to happen in a proper way, and this is not going to affect any bandwidth operations. Therefore, the sensitivity and the bandwidth are being equally managed in case of transimpedance amplifier. Let us get into the next concept, the receiver sensitivity. First, let us have the definition for the bit error rate. Bit error rate is defined as the ratio of number of errors received to the total number of bits. Now let us get into the concept of receiver sensitivity. So overall, so what it is going to say is, so whenever we get some data or the current from the photo detector, it needs to be amplified. Usually that will be a weak signal. Now, in order to make this amplification, out of this photo detector we must get certain minimum amount of power. If the power level is less than that, this amplification is not at all possible. So let us go through these words. The receiver sensitivity is its ability to amplify the weak signals. It is often defined in terms of power that must be applied to the receiver input terminal to the standard output power. Now let us go to the definition of this receiver sensitivity. Now to achieve the desired bit error rate, a specific minimum average optical power level must arrive to the photo detector. So that means amount of optical light falling on this photo detector must be at certain level, out of which this photo detector can generate minimum level of power out of the photo detector that can be later amplified. Now the value of this minimum power level is called the receiver sensitivity. That is, the value of this minimum power, the minimum power level is called the receiver sensitivity. With respect to receiver sensitivity, we are going to define two parameters. So one is the receiver performance Q and one more is the receiver sensitivity P sensitivity. Let us go through the receiver performance. It is defined by I1 minus I0 divided by sigma 1 plus sigma 0, which will be approximated to I1 divided by sigma 1 plus sigma 0, where the receiver sensitivity is given by 1 divided by R into Q divided by M into Qm f of M BQ divided by 2 plus sigma t, where the R is unity gain responsivity and M is the gain of photodiode, f of M is the photodiode noise figure, and B indicates the bit rate. Now with the sum of the known values, we can bring that previous equation into this format, and we are going to have certain considerations. RL is equal to 200 ohm and temperature T is equal to 300 degree Kelvin. So like that we have taken certain parameters, and with respect to that, this P sensitivity can be defined as these values. By we have just substituted whatever the values we have considered to each of them. By substituting that, we are going to get this value. Getting into one more topic, that is quantum limit. So this quantum limit is calculated by assuming that there will be no dark current. What is this dark current? This we discussed previously. So dark current in the sense when there is no optical energy falling on the photodiode, there will be certain amount of electron hole pair recombination that is going to happen. So because of which some amount of current is generated. That is what the dark current. Zero dark current in the sense we are considering some ideal case. So there will be no such electron hole pair recombination is going to happen in the photodetector. Only when the photon energy or the optical energy is going to fall on that, then only the electron hole pair recombination is going to happen. So that is what we mean for the zero dark current. Now getting into the definition of this quantum limit. In the absence of dark current, it is possible to find the minimum received optical power required for a specific bit error rate performance in a digital system. This minimum received power level is known as the quantum limit. With respect to this, we are going to define two parameters, the probability as well as the optical incident power. The probability at n is equal to 0, PR of 0 is equal to e to the power of minus n bar. The minimum optical incident power given by Pi will be equal to 20.7 HCB divided by 2 lambda. Let us go through a problem related to the quantum limit. A digital fiber optic link operating at 850 nanometer requires a minimum bit error rate of 10 to the power of minus 9. Calculate average number of electron hole pairs generated. For quantum limit for eta is equal to 1, find minimum incident optical power at bit rate 10 Mbps. Now solution. The probability defined by PR of 0 is equal to e to the power of minus n bar, that is given 10 to the power of minus 9. Now we need to calculate this n bar. So managing this equation, we get n bar is equal to 9 ln 10. So that will be equal to 20.7 approximated to the round off value 21. So what it means for, hence an average of 21 photons per pulse is required for this bit error rate. So that's the first calculation. Going to the second part of the calculation. So minimum incident optical power Pi we need to calculate. So we are going to have the formula for that. Pi is equal to 20.7 into HCB divided by 2 lambda. So parameters are known, H and C are the constants. So B is also given in the question. The lambda wavelength, that is also given in the question. By substituting of all these, we are going to get the optical power Pi as 24.2 picowatt, or when the reference power level is 1 milliwatt, then it will be given as minus 76.2 decibels meter. So this completes the module 3. So thanks for everyone for listening. Thanks.